Hey there, geometry class. We're going to talk quickly about transformations in a plane. If you have a polygon, you can do basically three different things to that. One would be what's called a reflection. Think about what a reflection means. Reflection means something like this. Ooh, can I get close enough? Something like that. And a reflection is just there's going to be some line of symmetry, and you're going to reflect that over that. So it's going to look like this now. A translation is when I move to a different spot. For instance, this. Something like this for this polygon would be a translation. It's basically moved to there. And lastly, a rotation would just simply be that. For this, we're going to rotate it around a point. Let's say the point is right there. And so just think of this whole thing as just turning. And so now it's going to be something like this. Okay? Let's talk about these in a coordinate plane. You can describe these functionally. For instance, let's do a reflection across the y-axis. You have an original x and a y. And if we're going to reflect it, can you see that every x is just going to become the opposite? So it'll be the opposite of whatever x you have, and it'll be the same y. For instance, that x there is -1. It'll become +1. That'll become +3. That'll become +1. And then your new figure will be over here. This is if you're going across the y-axis. If you're going across the x-axis, you can probably envision what that's going to look like. Every y is going to become the opposite. So it'll be x and the opposite of y. And that will simply just reflect that down there. If we're going to translate this figure, and we'll translate it a certain amount in the x-axis and a certain amount on the y-axis, you're going to get your original x and a y, and you're going to get however you change the x-axis. Let's say we wanted to move this figure 2 to the right and 1 up. Anyway, you're going to add something to the x, and you're going to add something to the y. Each one of these is going to be added the same amount to and the same amount on the y, and you're going to move this figure some direction. If we want to do a rotation, it's just a bit more complicated because it depends on how far you rotate it, and it also depends on what point you're rotating it around. Let's say that we're rotating around the origin, and we want to do, the book gives you a couple examples on page 70. We'll do a 90-degree rotation counterclockwise, so this direction. If it starts off as xy, now what you're going to do is you're going to change that to the opposite of y and the same x. Anyway, I don't want to go too much in detail with that one because it depends on a lot of different things. But just know that you can represent a rotation functionally as well. So I think that's it on reflections, rotations, and translation.